Let's start.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shit. 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's like 1. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, maybe you're coming out of here. Make it easier. Well, you got 2. Maybe if we were to do this way, it could be easier, right? Kind of there, somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have hypnotic cells is based on hypnotic cells is based on a relational model of selling. Edges of frame clear. Like compensation is on now. So okay, hypnotic cells is based on a relational model of selling. It's based on a relational model of selling. Whereas, okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we are here today to look at the differences between hypnotic cells and traditional cells. Okay, so to begin with, we are having that. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now, moving on to the difference between traditional cells and hypnotic cells. What we have is that traditional cells are based on a transactional level. 1, 2, 3. Now, looking at the difference between traditional cells and hypnotic cells, we can see the main differences right here, and I'm going to explain the whole thing in a moment. Okay, but basically, traditional cells is based on a transactional model of selling. Okay, we will use concepts like AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action, because traditional cells are very, very focused on the process. We will use expressions like ABC, always be closing, which refers to the need to be constantly inviting the client in one way or another, the prospect, to purchase from us throughout the sales process. Okay? Traditional sales is transactional, whereas hypnotic sales is relational. You see, what we are here trying to do is to find out as much as we can about the psychology of the person that we are selling to. Hypnotic sales, oh, fuck you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, as we look at the difference between hypnotic sales and traditional sales, we see that traditional sales are based on a transactional model in which we are going to use processes and techniques and expressions like ABC, always be closing, which refer to the tendency that we should have to close throughout the sales process in order to make sure that the client or the prospect buys as soon as possible from us. We also use techniques like AIDA or mnemonics in this case that help us remember the different stages that the sale should go through. AIDA refers to attention, interest, desire, and action, which are the successive steps that we should follow in order to achieve our objective selling in the traditional way. Now, in hypnotic sales, in the other way, hypnotic sales is a kind of relational sale in which we are trying to find out as much as we can about our prospect as possible. We are interested in the psychology of human beings in general, but particularly in the psychology of our client. In hypnotic sales, what we are trying to become is the trusted advisor of our client. Okay, our goal there is for them to effect a purchase more than for us to sell to them. That's another very important difference with traditional sales techniques. Now, the process that we will follow in hypnotic sales will go through the main stages that every sales go through, but in a slightly different manner. We will have different priorities to the priorities that we will have if we are selling in the traditional way. For example, on the contact stage of the process, we will be talking and we will be studying and learning more about colors, headline language, format, medium, platform, about the way in which we approach the client in order to affect the influence that we want to affect in them. As we move forward in the sales process, we will be evaluating their needs. We will evaluate their needs through very specific questions that we are learning here in hypnotic sales. We will look at a lot of things that the client wouldn't necessarily say, but they will express in different ways. For example, we will look at body language. We will learn a lot about that in hypnotic sales itself. We will use the use of words that the clients or prospects make. We will look at their where they make a pose or what are the keywords that they use, and we will use that to our advantage as well. Okay, then we will move to the next stage, and on the advice stage of the sale, we will look at the options that we are presenting, and we will present them in a way that influence directly the subconscious perception of the prospect. Okay, we will ourselves at that stage be using body language, use of words, and many of the techniques in order to connect directly with the subconscious part of the mind, which is the one that is below conscious awareness. Okay, traditional sales techniques, another difference is that it's mainly focused on the conscious mind of the client or prospect, whereas hypnotic sales is mainly concerned with influencing the subconscious mind of the client. Traditional sales, the priority is influencing the conscious mind through the process of selling. With hypnotic sales, the priority is influencing the person itself through the application of subconscious rules and techniques that will allow us to influence that person at a deeper level, in most cases in ways that they won't realize that they're being influenced. Of course, we won't use this power to sell them anything that they don't need to. It's not something that we encourage here, but hypnotic sales is important for you to know that it's a much more subtle approach to sales that is much more person-oriented rather than process oriented. Okay? In hypnotic sales, our main objective, our main goal is at the time of closing to have absolutely no pressure in the client so that the client will naturally choose to buy from us. In traditional sales, what we have is that at the time of closing, in most cases, we are concentrating on techniques that apply pressure to the client in one way or another so that they will buy from us. Okay? Let's say that it's a much more soft, gradual, and subtle process that we use in hypnotic sales to take the client to the purchase. And what we expect is that they will want to buy from us in the end. They will close themselves. They will do the always be closing much sooner than we will expect, most probably in many cases way before we finish our sales presentation. Okay, we will also look naturally in hypnotic sales, apart from many other things, to the difference between females and males. Okay, we will look at the difference in how they react to things, in how they learn, in how they use language. Okay, these are just some of the things that we will look at. We will look at what are the different priorities. For example, for females, we have 3 here, but in the training we go through more than 15 for each. But to give you an example, females are more interested in knowing secrets or feeling safe or feeling accepted. You see, these are key factors that we must make sure that we mention or include in our sales copy, in our sales materials, in order to influence females better. Basically, females are interested in how they appear to others, in integrating, in being part of the community, nurturing others, in making sure that they stay in the community, they're appreciated. Overall, this is very important for females and it's something that we can use in our marketing materials. Now, the males, on the other hand, they're very interested in knowing more or bragging to others or feeling special or learning something that will give them an edge over other people. Okay? But basically, overall, men are very interested in what they can do. You see the difference there? Do, action-oriented, appears, or be, which is more, it has to do more with who the person is rather than with what the person can do. Whereas the sales presentation for male will have a much greater influence on what our product will allow the person to do. Our sales presentation for women will be much more, let's say, it will emphasize much more what our product will allow the person to be, in a way. So those are just, this is just a brief introduction to the differences between traditional sales and hypnotic sales. And this is something very useful that we're going to be going through a lot on the training later, but basically that's the main difference. Traditional sales is process oriented and hypnotic sales is person oriented. Traditional sales is more transactional and hypnotic sales is much more relational. It's about people, it's about psychology, it's about influencing the subconscious mind. Whew. Cool.